Chapter 3, Two Stories About Flying. Part 2, Black Aeroplane, written by Frederick Forsyth. We have studied about the summary of this lesson, about a pilot who has lost in a storm, how does he arrive safe, and who helps him. This one we have studied. Let's go ahead with the reading and comprehension line by line. Part 2, The Black Aeroplane. The moon was coming up in the east behind me, and stars were shining in the sky above me. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. I was happy to be alone, high up above the sleeping countryside. Here the story is narrated by the narrator, the pilot, who is telling in his own word. So he says that when he left France for England, so sky was clear. There was no clouds in the sky, and he was happy alone, passing through the countryside. Here countryside means village area, remote area. I was flying my old Dakota aeroplane over France back to England. The pilot was from England and he was flying to England from France. I was dreaming of my holidays and looking forward to being with my family. I was dreaming, it means he was just thinking about that how he was going to enjoy his holidays and he was going to be with his family. I looked at my watch, 1:30 in the morning. Narrator says that he saw that it was 1:30, it means almost midnight. After midnight, he was flying over the countryside, it means in the France countryside. Further he says that I should call Paris control soon, I thought. As I looked down past the nose of aeroplane means the front side of aeroplane, I saw the lights of a big city in front of me. So he could see city area. Earlier he was flying in countryside means village area, now he was in city area. I switched on the radio and said, he just switched on the radio and he said, Paris control, Dakota DS-08 here. Can you hear me? I am on my way to England, over. That was the statement said by the pilot. The voice from the radio answered immediately. DS-08, I can hear you. You are to turn 12 degrees west now. DS-08, over. So what was the instruction given by the control room? It was given that the pilot had to turn 12 degrees west now. Means from there he had to turn 12 degrees west for going to England. Now further what happens? I checked the map. Narrator says that I checked the map and the compass. Switched over to my second last fuel tank. Means first fuel tank was over and this was the last and second fuel tank. He switched to that and he turned and turned the Dakota 12 degrees west towards England as it was instructed by the Paris control room, control center. I'll be in time for breakfast, I thought. He thought that if he goes like this way, so he will be at home by the breakfast time. A good big English breakfast. So he was thinking about the famous English breakfast and he thought that he will be at home at the time. Everything was going well. It was an easy flight. It was a simple flight and everything was going smoothly. Paris was about 150 kilometers behind me. Means he has covered 150 kilometers from Paris. When I saw the clouds, means when he saw the clouds, storm clouds, they were huge, they were very big. They looked like black mountains. They were looking like black mountains standing in front of me across the sky. So in the sky, when he saw huge clouds, he had already covered 150 kilometers. And narrator says that I knew I could not fly up and over them. He knew very well that he doesn't have so much fuel that he could go above high in the cloud and could fly. And I did not have enough fuel to fly around them to the north or south or nor he could change the direction and go in the different direction, and then he could cover in the same direction, because he did not have so much fuel. So he was confused. I ought to go back to Paris. He thought that, narrator said that, I thought that I ought to go back to, ought to means I should go back to Paris. I thought, but I wanted to get home. But he was feeling homesickness also. He wanted to go home, and that's why I wanted that breakfast also. So narrator says that I wanted to go home and I wanted to take breakfast. That's why he could not go back to Paris also. And then he decided, I will take risk, I thought, and flew that old Dakota straight into the storm. Inside the clouds, everything was suddenly black. It was impossible to see anything outside the aeroplane. The old aeroplane jumped and twisted. It means it was just moving in the air here and there in the air because of high pressure. I looked at the compass. I couldn't believe on my eyes. The compass was turning round and round. It was dead. It would not work. It was not working. The other instruments were suddenly dead too. Other instruments means radio was there. I tried the radio. He tried, and he said, Paris control, can you hear me? There was no answer. The radio was dead too. So all the instruments, radio, compass, everything was dead, and his plane was twisting in the air. I had no radio, no compass, and I could not see where I was. I was lost in the storm. Then in the black clouds quite near me, I saw another aeroplane. It had no lights on the wings, but I could see it flying next to me. Next to means parallel. Through the storm, I could see the pilot's face turned towards me. He could see the pilot's face, which face was turning towards him. I was very glad to see another person. He lifted one hand and waved. Waved means moved his hand, like hi, hello we say. So he said like that, and he said, follow me. The pilot who was flying the black aeroplane, he said, follow me. He was saying, follow me. He knows that I am lost, I thought. Narrator thought that the black aeroplane pilot thought that he is lost. He is trying to help me, narrator thought. He turned his aeroplane slowly to the north in front of my Dakota. He said that follow me, and then he turned his plane to the north and he said that follow me, so that it would be easier for me to follow him. I was very happy to go behind the strange aeroplane like an obedient child. Means he was not understanding what to do, so like obedient child he was following the black aeroplane. After half an hour, the strange black aeroplane was still in front of me in the clouds. Means half an hour he continued follow that pilot. Now you see, there was only enough fuel in the old Dakota's last tank to fly 5 or 10 minutes more. Remember this line, only enough fuel was there that he could fly 5 or 10 minutes more. I was starting feel frightened. Frightened means scared. Again he started feeling scared that what will happen. But then he started to go down. He means the pilot of black aeroplane. He started going down, and I followed through the storm, and the narrator also followed through the pilot of that Dakota 088. He also followed through the storm. Suddenly I came out of the clouds. Suddenly narrator came out of the cloud and saw 2 long straight lines of lights in front of me. So in front of narrators, when he came out of the cloud, he saw that 2 lines were there, and it was a runway, an airport it was, and narrator thought I was safe. I turned to look for my friends in the black aeroplane. I turned means he turned back to see that where is that another aeroplane, but the sky was empty. There was no any plane in the sky. There was nothing there, means nothing was there in the sky. The black aeroplane was gone, means it was not visible in the sky. I could not see anywhere. I landed and was not sorry to walk away from the old Dakota near the control tower. See here, you remember that I landed and was not sorry, means he was not feeling guilty that he is leaving his Dakota, because it could be dangerous, because the Dakota aeroplane has just landed from a storm, so anything could have happened. So he was not sorry for leaving that plane, and immediately got off from the plane and moved to the control tower. I went and asked a woman in the control center where I was. He went in the control center and he asked a lady who was sitting there that where he was, I was, and who the other pilot was. He asked that who the other pilot was. I wanted to say thank you to him. She looked at me very strangely. The lady who was sitting there, she looked at him strangely and laughed. Another aeroplane. In surprise, she said that another aeroplane. Up there in this storm. No other planes were flying tonight. She told narrator that no other airplanes were flying that night in the sky because it was a stormy night. Yours was the only one I could see on the radar. She said that only your plane was visible on the radar. So narrator was confused. Narrator was very much shocked also, because he has seen a black aeroplane and he had followed black plane also. So that's why he was so confused, that so who helped me to arrive there safely without a compass, radio, and without any more fuel in my tanks? Who was the pilot on the strange black aeroplane flying in the storm without lights? So these all the questions were again and again coming in the narrator's mind, and narrator could not understand that what happened and how he reached there, and still it was a mystery in his mind. Now the students, what do you think? Who helped? Was there any ghost or something else? Now here let's go ahead with the question answers. With the help of that we will understand. Here the first question is which you have to give answer, and that question also you have to give answer what I asked, that who do you think. Let's go ahead here, then at the last I'll ask this question. I will take the risk. What is the risk and why does the narrator take it? So there are two questions. Statement is I will take the risk. So what is the risk and why does the narrator want to take risk? This one you remember. Second question, describe the narrator's experience as he flew the aeroplane into the storm. So how was his experience when he flew? You have to describe. Why does the narrator say I landed and was not sorry to walk away from the old Dakota? Why he said that I was not sorry to walk away? So just now I told you, you have to remember, you have to go back and listen, and then you have to answer this one. What made the woman in the control center look at the narrator strangely? So why that lady who was in a control center, she looked at him strangely and laughed? That answer you have to give. Fifth question is, who do you think helped the narrator to reach safely? That same question what I was asking. Now you have to give your own answer. Who do you think helped the narrator to reach safely? Here you don't have to discuss with anyone, rather you have to think and you have to answer in your fair copy. So there are these five questions you have to write in your fair copy, and you have to write some difficult words if you have found here. You have to give that also questions which I have given in summary, some questions oral comprehension I have given, and after that, after this answer, I'll give some extract which you have to give the answer of the extract. Thank you.